Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson, and today we are going to talk a little bit about lock picking. To kind of continuing along with the escape and evasion series that I started not too long ago. And there are a few important things that you guys need to know about lock picking. Number one is that there are several states where just having possession of lockpick kits like this means can A, be illegal if you're not a licensed lockpick professional, or if you're not a licensed dealer, or if you don't have some kind of significant reason for having them. Personally, now I am going to be offering you guys some links where you can buy some of these training locks and stuff like that off of my Amazon store. And you guys can find those in the description below if you'd like to train and to learn how to do this. I'm also going to put a link in the description that talks about the legality in which different states and stuff like that. So you guys should definitely pay attention to that because you don't want to get yourself in trouble or anything like that. So check your state laws for sure. Right now today we're going to start with just single pin picking. Okay, and that is probably the most basic way to pick a lock, and then on another video we'll do raking, and then we'll cover maybe I'll do some of these different locks and stuff like that too. But I'm not a lock picking professional, as you guys know. I am a law enforcement officer, and I've had some training and some demonstrations through that, but most of it honestly is self-taught because I was I've been looking into getting into the lockpicking competitions and stuff like that. It just seems like kind of a fun hobby, and so that is one aspect and one reason to look into it. And then from my professional perspective, there is a certain field in my job that also does this, the tech services people who go out and do surreptitious entries and different things along that line. And so I'd always kind of wanted to be in that as well. So I thought I'd practice up on it a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys too, because I think in a without rule of law situation where the government has broken down and there's no more rule of law, then I can see where knowing how to pick a lock might be a handy skill to have. It could be in an escape and evasion situation where you need to pick a lock to escape. It could be just in a gathering food and supplies kind of situation. It's really hard to say. So what do you need to start out with this? Well, here's what I recommend. This little kit, I want to say it was like $15 or $20 or something like that, and it's a pretty cool little kit. Comes with a couple of keys, and then it comes with this clear practice lock, and basically, if you can see that, this is just a regular pin and tumbler lock, and you can see the pins in here, and it helps you to understand how the lock works, so that when you're using a lock like one of these that you can't see through, you can kind of feel what's going on. All right. And the other thing in this kit, it also comes with some real basic picks and a tension wrench. This is just a very flat tension wrench, and then a few different picks as well. And the most important two for this lesson that we're going to be dealing with here is the tension wrench and the single pin pick. Okay, so these are just very basic tools. Now, from an escape and evasion perspective, having these two taped together or something like that, maybe put into a belt or in a wallet or something along those lines, that's very concealable, and you could pick a lot of different locks with just these two things. Okay. You can also use the more comfortable tools to use, and the ones that I prefer to use when I'm practicing and stuff like that this is a tension wrench that's just a little bit longer and has got a twist in it, and then this is like what they call I think a Bogota rake or something like that. I don't really know the official terms for it. And then just another single pin pick that has got just a handle on it. So essentially the same things, but just a little bit more comfortable to use. As you can see, I've got several different kits up here, and I honestly never use any of that stuff. The only three things that I've used to pick all these different locks is just these three. That's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to change the camera setup a little bit here so you can actually kind of see what's going on in the lock when I'm doing this single pin pick. So let me change that up and we'll get started again. Okay guys, so here's the first practice lock, and when we're looking at that, the things that you need to know about this, there's just a couple of things you need to know really. Alright, so you've got your key here, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins it looks like, and those pins all move as the key goes through. Okay, and so when the key gets in and it lines up perfectly, it's all matched along what's called a shear line. At least that's my understanding of what it's called. And then that enables the key, the plug here, to then turn and disengage the lock. Okay, so ultimately what you're trying to do when you're picking this, you're going to take and put your tension wrench in down at the bottom, and as far as how much tension you put on these, I would say to start out with, you kind of want to match the spring tension that you feel from the pins inside. Okay, that's going to be just a starting point, but then you're going to vary it as you go along. So what you want to do is you want to put this in here, and then you want to come, I usually start at the back. I mean, you can start at the front or the back, and then I'm putting a little bit of tension down right here on that, right on my tension wrench, and then I'm going to put this pick in here, and I'm going to slide that to the back, and I'm just going to work each pin successively to the front, and I'm going to try to get it basically to line up at that shear line, and then I can open the lock. Okay, so this takes some practice, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's pretty easy when you can see it, and that's why these are great locks. These are a good practice thing, but you know, only after practicing with them for a couple nights, you'll get the mechanics of it, and you'll be able to open these up really quick. It doesn't take very long at all. One that is a little better for practicing is this one, and this is basically a full lock, but it's a cutaway, so that you can see the cutaway. And so let's go ahead and do this one too. And that way, when you're first learning, you can look at the cutaway to see what's happening, and then as you get a little bit better, you can turn the lock over, and it's just like a real lock. And this one's a little bit more cantankerous than the other one too. Every lock kind of has its own feel to it. Come on, get up there. And if you put too much pressure, there we go. If you put too much pressure, then you can bind the pins up. If you don't have enough pressure, then they'll just slide back out. So that is the basics of single pin picking. Let's change camera angles here, and I'll show you on a regular lock how that works. Okay, so my recommendation when you start to learning to pick locks is, you start with master locks. These are pretty easy locks to pick. They're not real difficult. And I would just start at the lower end of the security scale. Like this one here is like a 2, and then just kind of work your way up the higher ones. But I'll tell you that these are from not just a picking, the scale is not just from a picking perspective. It's mostly from a cutting perspective of cutting the lock. It does take into consideration, I'm sure, some picking aspects, but I can tell you that this number 7 on the scale is probably the easiest one to unlock. So, I don't know if it really matters or not. I started going from low to high. You guys can do it however you want. The 2 locks that I've had the most difficulty with are these 2 locks. This is a master lock, and it has a security pin in it, so it's a little bit more challenging to pick. It's a master lock number 140, And then this one is the M1, and this one isn't really that difficult. I've gotten it open 10 or 15 times, but the spring pressure on it is a lot higher, and it's just not as easy to feel what's going on in there as it is with some of these others. So, you know, those can kind of be the more advanced ones or whatever. This one is real easy too. I think it's a 6 or 7 on the scale also. But oddly enough, I have almost as much trouble with this one as I do some of these other ones. So anyway, with that, let me go ahead and do this. This is just a little TSA lock. We'll mix up the numbers here, and you know, and it's locked. And then what I usually do when I hold these is I'll take and hold them with with these 2 fingers, and then I'll put in the tension wrench, or actually the other way. I'll hold it with the first 2, and then I'll hold it the tension with the middle one, and then I can reach the pin in here and start messing with it again. And I'm just kind of doing a dragging motion in here when I'm doing this, and I'll just work it a couple different times until I get them all. And there we go. It popped open. So, you know, not a difficult thing to do there. Grab my wrench. Okay, so the next one here on the list, only like a 3 on their scale. You know, just a basic little master lock. And I'm going to put that in there like that. And then I'm going to take my single pin pick, and I'm just going to put it towards the back. And work that. Boom. Until we get that to open up like that. Okay. Okay, so this one is, what do they call these? These are the master lock number 3. Probably one of the most common locks in the world. I mean, you know, very common lock. You see these pretty much on anything, especially farms, outbuildings, sheds, you know, stuff like that. So I'm going to put my pin back in here. And it's really about learning sensitivity with the pin and the tension wrench, because you'll find the pin that you feel is hanging, and then you'll be able to pop that one up a little bit, and then there it goes, you know. So I'll reset that one and do that one more time. So again, I'm starting with light pressure on my tension wrench, but then as I go, if I feel like I need to increase it a little bit, I'll increase it. If I feel like I need to back it out a little bit, I'll back it out. And then when I feel like I've got the last one, sometimes I just run back through and re-get them, because I may have one that's over tight or something like that. Okay, so that is the basics of single pin picking. I'll do another video here on raking, and different locks react different ways. Some locks like to be single pin picked, and other locks like to be raked. And so I'll show you these 2 on raking. You can single pin pick these also. It's just that they happen to work really well with raking, and so that gives me a good reason to do that. So anyway, guys, like I said, make sure that you check the link in the description. Make sure you check your local laws, and if you want a good practice lock, then check these out. I'll have these in my Amazon store in the links below, and then I'll also put some links to some different lock kits and stuff like that as well. So and it's not as easy as it looks. I want to let you guys know up front, I've practiced with these locks for probably 2 weeks. I'd say I've been playing with them a little bit. I've been trying them, and I've been learning kind of, how to get each one and stuff, because they all kind of vary and have their own little flavor. So don't think that just because you can pick one lock that you're going to be able to walk up to another lock and be able to do it right away. You know, I'd say with some practice with these, you should be able to get pretty much any of these locks done in under 30 seconds with some practice. Some of these harder ones over here, they may take a few minutes. You know, they are a little bit harder, but some of these basic ones are really pretty easy to deal with. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of addictive once you sit down and start doing it and stuff like that. I don't think that there's any reason to buy these bigger kits personally, unless you're going to be like a locksmith or something like that. You really, these small kits like this, this little kit here came with several different tension wrenches and a few rakes, and I think it was only like, I don't know, $10 or $12 or something along those lines. And then, you know, the one with the other lock, with this clear lock, you know, it was pretty cheap too, like 10 or 15 bucks. So as always, guys, I definitely appreciate when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys.
One of my biggest time wasters is driving to and from work every day. I can't text, I can't email, it's boring, and it wastes my time. But I started using Audible, listening to audiobooks as I drive. Audible gave me back 2 hours per day, and I love it. Click the link in the description below to get 30 days free, plus a free audiobook from audible.com when you sign up for the service.